This portion of the CU podcast is brought to you by Munk Pack. Munk Pack offers low-sugar, keto-friendly bars which are plant-based, gluten-free, and non-GMO. They're the perfect snack for anyone who's trying to eat better or cut back on sugar and carbs without sacrificing taste. Munk Pack Keto Granola Bars and Nut and Seed Bars contain 1 gram of sugar or less, 2 to 3 grams of net carbs, and each bar contains 150 calories or less.
Yeah, I love these. Munk Pack bars have an amazing chewy texture and come in delicious flavors like sea salt dark chocolate, coconut cocoa chip, and caramel sea salt. The coconut cocoa chip, for instance, is my favorite and reminds me of like the soft granola bars we had as a kid. They're perfect for a quick breakfast, a snack between Zoom calls, or as a guilt-free, decadent dessert. By shopping online, you can avoid another trip to the grocery store and have Munk Pack delivered right to your door. These bars are not just for people eating keto, they are a great snack for anyone looking to reduce their sugar intake while still enjoying delicious, flavorful snacks. I've been working from home lately, more of a sedentary lifestyle. It's nice to have something healthy and quick that I can kind of grab.
Yeah, it's a nice quick snack. You don't feel guilty. It's like almost like a treat sometimes. You can use it as a dessert. My favorite is probably, I love peanut butter and dark chocolate, and that's probably my favorite one.
In addition to being keto-friendly, the bars are also gluten-free, plant-based, and non-GMO, with no sugar, alcohols, soy, or artificial colors.
Get 20% off your first purchase of any Munk Pack product by visiting monkpack.com and entering our code CU Podcast at checkout, or just click the link in the description down below to get 20% off. Munk Pack is so confident in their product that it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll exchange the product or refund your money, whichever you prefer. So get some yummy, healthy bars. Go to monkpack.com and use our code CU Podcast to save 20%, or click the link in the description below. Get going. Ian, we got voicemails, don't we? You go to Anchor.
We do.
You go to anchor.fm/CU Podcast.
I don't know why. I feel like this has been we've been going at a good clip today.
It's only an hour 24. It's like you're like struggling, but we're like way ahead of schedule for once this week. We should do it every Monday.
I'm not struggling. I just stayed up too late playing Final Fantasy.
Really? Which one?
7 Remake.
7 Remake?
Yeah, I got it for PC because it was on sale, and I cranked the graphics settings up, and it's a gorgeous game.
All right. Well, you're gonna leave us voice messages, and hopefully, they're entertaining.
Hello, this is Alex from the one and only Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I've been a long-time listener since about 2016, and I love the podcast. So I just want to say thank you guys. Keep up the good work.
Oh, okay.
Hey, thanks.
Quick and easy if you're gonna,
Hey, Pat and Ian. This is Jason from the Nerd Cave Retro Show. You guys were talking about not being able to get good deals at the flea markets anymore for video games, and I've noticed the same thing, so I started collecting VHS tapes. They're really easy to find these days. I like to go for things like horror movies and science fiction movies, things that weren't really given a good DVD treatment. Or you can find good collector's items, collector's editions like Evil Dead, where you get like booklets and stuff with them. What do you guys think about that? Love the show. Keep doing what you're doing.
Look at these VHS collectors trying to pump up the market, trying to get it out there. Well, I see what you're doing. I have no interest. Here's the thing. If I was going to be a movie collector, that's different to me. Like you said, we're going to find a sci-fi film that never was put on DVD. You get the VHS. That's actually kind of cool to me. But like the vast majority of the VHS you go and find are stuff from like the 90s and 2000s, and they're trash.
I think like 80s VHS collecting is interesting because that's where you're probably still going to find a lot of the stuff that never made a transition.
Or maybe the art was better back then.
Sure.
It wasn't as cheap. But like, I don't think that's why a lot of people are getting into this, at least now. I talked to someone at Too Many Games. It's like, hey, Pat, thanks for talking about VHS tapes. Now people are buying them because you guys talked about it. Just to get into it, get in early. I think that's the thing. It's like, if you're getting in for the love of it, I have no problem of anything. But it's like when you say like, why didn't you do it? It's like, because I don't have any interest in it. I'm not going to collect something, Ian, just to say, well, it might be something cool in the future. I just don't have the time or space or need to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sort of collected out at this point. We got our things like Ian has his LPs and games. I have games and like toys. And that's it.
Some people have balsamic vinegar.
Some people have balsamic vinegar, which sounds like you should have taken the invite and gone up, Ian.
I could have done some bread and oil.
Hey, you had a scheduled interview with good old ex-CEO, and you could have done that at some point.
Hey, did you guys ever see that movie Beverly Hills Cop? Please let me know.
Yes. It's great. Beverly Hills Cop. Fantastic. The first one. The second one is I think they're doing a fourth one. The third one is
I like the theme park scene where he's hanging from the Ferris wheel
with Bronson Pinchot showing up again. The first one is like not a classic, but it's great.
It's good.
Help vault Eddie Murphy. Famously, Stallone like backed out last minute. It was like 2 weeks before filming, whatever it was, and they got in Murphy and then rewrote the entire script on the fly to account for. I think Murphy's a slightly different actor than Stallone, and obviously it's better for it. It's a great movie. The first one. That was when Murphy blew up. He keep coming back to this. He was so fucking young when he did those movies.
Yeah, he was like 18
21.
or 20. Yeah, he was very young. It was like 18 when he started on SNL, I think.
18, 19. So like he blew up when he was so young.
Yep.
He's only in his like mid-50s now. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, every time I see him, I'm like, how do you still look like that? Oh, because you're not actually old. That mustache just made you look older
like
than you were.
58 or whatever. He's not that old. Next one.
Hi, Pat. Hi, Ian. Stefan from Arizona here.
Stefan.
Long-time listener, second-time caller.
Wah.
I have one question for each of you. You both can answer them, but they are slightly tailor-made for the both of you.
Okay.
Ian, what is your favorite PS2 Atlas game? Be it published by them or developed by them, and whether it's your favorite right now or of all time. Pat, what games do you feel will be less known about nowadays if they weren't associated with certain YouTubers? To give two specific examples, I feel like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on NES would probably not be as well known if it weren't for its relation to, James Rolfe's AVGN. And I feel like Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat probably wouldn't be as well known if it were not for you two. Cheers, guys.
I'm not sure why I said that. I never heard of that game before.
For me, it would be Stella Deus was a strategy RPG that was published by Atlas on the PlayStation 2. I adore it. I thought the graphical style was great. It was a pretty straightforward strategy RPG that didn't get bogged down in a lot of mechanics. And the characters were good. And there was hidden characters and stuff it was fantastic.
I mean, he took the one I was going to say. No one would have heard of that game besides hardcore, NES fans and collectors. Man, that's the one. It's even like the one game he always calls back because of that. It was like the iconic early one that like it's so weird and bizarre. And, we even called back to it in the combat video.
Sure. I feel like a lot of the later releases probably wouldn't have been like Panic Restaurant. Something like that would not have probably been as well known if it weren't for people talking about it. Little Samson, I think, is almost entirely known at this point because of, early YouTubers talking about it. When I was collecting NES, in the late 90s, early 2000s, that was never a game that came up.
Did you see my Panic Restaurant video before I came out here?
No, I saw it after you came here.
Okay. Wonder how Allison's doing. She was great in those videos. She put up with my garbage and didn't need me in the balls for real. On the Google 13 video on take number 2, I believe. So I used that take.
Nice.
Nice that you need me in the ball. Nice. Next one.
Hello, Pat, Ian. This is Mike from Raleigh, North Carolina. Just want to say I've been a fan of the podcast for a long time.
Thanks, Mike.
And I was watching an old episode, and I noticed that Ian has an adult with a period sticker on the back of his laptop. Ian, what other electronic bands are you into? I'm heavily into Detroit techno, so you can pretty much go through that genre lineup and you'll find some of my favorite artists. Also into Chicago house, industrial, electro, drum bass, name it, and I'm into it.
Hell?
Anyway, keep up the good work, and thank you. Bye.
You in the barn somewhere with like crickets? What was that? Was that you hear that chirping?
Yes, I love electronic music. It's pretty much been the main form of music I've listened to since the early to mid 90s. Adult is great. They're fantastic live. In that sort of vein, I really like Contravoid. I like Spike Hellis. I like Trust. I would absolutely recommend people listen to Trust. So yeah, tons of it.
Who's that cute cat in the spacesuit?
I don't know. I think I got that from Helen, actually.
Oh, I haven't spoken to Helen a bit.
Hey, Pat and Ian, this is Nick from Richmond, Virginia. I had a question about video game parties. I hosted a video game party a couple of years ago, and I want to host one again soon. But I was wondering if you guys have ever done something like that, or hosted a party that's centered around playing video games.
I don't think I have before. I've done the board. Everyone's done the board game night. Everyone's done the board game night. I don't know if I ever had a hey, come over, let's play Wii Sports, or been to I've talked about how when I first moved here, how the Wii was still so hot in 2009 and 10, how I went to parties with younger people and it was like wine flowing, drinking, and then playing Wii bowling. That was the thing. But that wasn't design. It was just something to do, while you're drinking.
Yeah. I don't think I ever really did, because when friends would come over, throwing on a multiplayer game was just kind of something that, happened. We didn't need to plan a specific party for playing video games because, we'd all hang out on Sundays and play games anyways, I guess. Nothing wrong with it. It's fun, but yeah, I just don't think I ever went out of my way to plan that specifically.
Hey, Pat. Hey, and it's your boy Lamco64 from Nottingham, UK again. Just listening to your new episode where you're talking about anachronisms in movies and TV shows, referencing the Stranger Things episodes. This is a massive pet peeve of mine. Really bugs me when you see somebody blatantly playing a Game Boy Advance or something and you're getting stupid Pong/Atari noises coming out of it. Can you think of any particularly egregious examples of this? I'll mention one that you didn't spot from Stranger Things, or didn't mention that you spotted. You can actually hear in the arcade on it E Honda laughing.
Yes,
about 8 years too early on that one.
I heard that. But
thanks, guys.
Yeah, Lamco. Yeah, I heard that. When it's sound effects, that's just, they were trying to fill the air. I don't mind that. It was like ho ho ho. It was in the episode.
I don't have any specific examples, but that always annoyed me too. How even in the late 90s and mid 2000s, it's really only been since maybe 2010 on where we start getting remotely accurate representations of video games and things like movies and sitcoms, instead of this big unwieldy controller that no one would ever use with beeps and bloops coming out of it. Video games always look rough in 90s TV.
I like when the video games are showing up on Knight Rider.
Oh,
sometimes he plays an Atari game on the screen while kids drive for him, and then there's some arcade games that are in the background here and there, like in the bars and stuff. It's like, oh, what is that? What is that game? Trying to look for one that's like a lost game that was on a set in '83. I think it's interesting.
Hey guys, this is Calico from California. I'm just curious if you played any older games on older game consoles. So that would be the Dreamcast, even the original Xbox or PS2, the GameCube. Even the X-Lynx Kai or the Ramnet. I know for me, I've been playing a lot of Phantasy Star Online version 2 on the Dreamcast on private servers. It's not the same, but I never really got the original experience. Love the podcast, and I love extra napkins. Thanks.
No, the only thing I ever did was I think I just used to play when the emulators had built-in net play for NES or Super. That's all I've ever done.
So what was the question again? It was,
have you played any older game consoles online?
Yeah, I have, but I played the Dreamcast.
Does he mean back in the day or now?
Yeah, that I'm not certain.
Oh.
I've always wanted to play Phantasy Star Online version 2 on an actual Dreamcast now, because I know there's still people who do fan servers, so I'd maybe look into that. Back in the day, I definitely played, Dreamcast games online. That was one of the things I loved about it, was this, the first system with some real online support. But I haven't gone back to any, really.
Hey, Pat and Ian, this is Jason from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, longtime fan of the podcast and of Friendly's Restaurants.
Yeah.
And this question is for Ian. I have been really into these mini arcade consoles lately and playing a bunch of them and a bunch of shooters. So my question is, which of these bullet hell shooters that I suck at but for some reason can't stop playing do you think is better? Taito's Darius Gaiden or Neo Geo SNK's Blazing Star? That's it. Keep up the good work. Thanks, guys.
I love both of them. I don't know that I'd consider either of them bullet hell, but they're both really, really good shooters. I really like Blazing Star. I do a lot, but it's one of those ones that never grabbed me, I guess, as much as I was hoping it would. Meanwhile, I loved Darius Gaiden. I love the art in it. I love the weird, fish-themed enemies. So while both are good, I would give the edge to Darius Gaiden.
Well, I got a game for you called Deep Blue. If you're into the fish shooter genre, the huge fish shooter genre.
That game came into Luna 3 times, and I just kept passing on it.
You got Deep Blue. You got Scoon.
In the Hunt.
In the Hunt? Never heard of that one.
In the Hunt is another submarine shooter by Irem that came out in the 90s.
But how many are you an actual fish like Deep Blue?
Yeah.
Actual fish shooting other fish. It's so bizarre.
It is fucking
I'll do
weird.
a few more. I'm having fun. We're getting done early.
Hey guys, it's Daryl from Buffalo
Hey,
again. Up here in Buffalo, we have a certain retro store that likes to put green labeled stickers on their games. Sometimes they put them on labels, sometimes they put them on the boxes and so forth. They're a real pain in the butt to get off. Ian probably figures what store I'm talking about. Here's the issue with this. They've been putting them on the labels and damaging the labels and so forth of the games.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell a store, hey, don't do that, but you know, like there's other parts of a cart usually you can put the label. No, that's not the art, you know. I've seen on boxes where they use something else where it's like a harder sticker on like not a sticky, but something like a sticky where it comes off easier so it doesn't damage.
What we used to always do is the labels that we had were easy remove, and on like, you know, on DVD case games, you know, they just get slapped right on there.
Sure.
With NES games, why would you put any cartridge game? Why would you put it on the label? There's all sorts of places on there, like bare plastic, that you can put those labels. With boxes, it depends if you want to spend the money and get protectors for all your box games, and most of them are not worth that kind of treatment. You know, you can put it right on there. What I used to do, and no one ever complained about it, I'd hang the sticker off the side. Basically, I'd use, if the sticker is this big, I'd use like 2 millimeters of it, and just, it looks like a little flag flying off the side. You pick it up, you just pop it off, and that's it.
And for the most part, you were good to go. You weren't.
I've never, no one ever complained. I never saw a box damaged that way.
Gotcha. Do like 2 more.
Hey, Pat. Hey, Ian. It's Peter from Delaware.
Hey, Pete.
Recently, Ian talked about how he gets to your house about 45 minutes before you start shooting. So I was just curious, like, what the ritual is like once Ian gets to your house and until you start shooting. Like, you guys fist bump, chest bump it out.
I am not chest bumping Ian.
Offer some refreshments. What's going on? Thank you.
It's usually, I don't think you ever said 45 minutes. It's usually over an hour,
yeah,
at least. Sometimes it's an hour and a half, sometimes it's 2, depending on what we have to do and prepare. It's not, there's like a ritual, but it's not exciting.
If it's 2 hours, it's because you're puttering around.
Wow. Yeah. Show preps puttering. Thanks, Ian.
I mean, no, Pat sits on his computer and checks to see if there's new stuff that we need to talk about. I sit down here, I open up the topic list, and there's usually one topic that I didn't give enough attention to, so I read over it. I usually slam a Diet Coke.
A tall boy.
It's a tall boy today. I usually bring 2 Diet Cokes and a Polar Water. I usually slam 1 Diet Coke.
Which brings me to Ian's bathroom breaks. Usually just 2 before the podcast. And usually I'm ready to go, all right. And then Ian just walks out when I'm like literally ready to start.
I do that at the movie theater too, though. It's piss panic. I get piss panic.
I'm literally like, all right, let's go. And like Ian's already gone.
Well, because I don't want to have to go in the middle. So when it's movie theater time, I go and I pee when we get there, and then we sit down. And when I'm sure there's like 1 preview left, I get up and I go.
So you do a second pre-pee just in case.
I do a second pre-pee just in case.
A pre-pee.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell. But that's happened a lot where I'm like, all right, ready to go, and then Ian's just not here. And
sometimes it's kind of amusing, so maybe sometimes it's comedic timing.
For me, so I'm frustrated. I'm already frustrated enough sometimes. Sometimes we have technical issues that, you know, I'm like not ready to throw things, but it's like weird shit I can't figure it out. Sometimes it's Discord issues. You know, there's a lot of stuff that happens sometimes beforehand. And we have to do our sponsors, our advertisers that love us. We have to do those. We have to, you know, promote good old Munk Pack, save using code CU podcasts or
Tasty Bars.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Get your Tasty Bars.
We have to do that.
Hey, Pat and Ian, this is Z-Mangs in Japan. A while back, you were asking about Ninja Gaiden OVA. There actually is a Ninja Gaiden anime that aired in Japan, like 40 minutes long. You can watch it on YouTube.
Okay.
There's also a Salamander, aka Life Force anime to enjoy.
Neat.
Recently, I've been noticing mostly musicians, but a few YouTubers being annoyed about having to use social media to promote their art, you know, their music or videos or whatever. For me personally, as someone who does do YouTube, I think of promotion via Twitter or Instagram or TikTok to be an extension of my art. So I was just wondering how you guys feel about having to use social media to promote yourselves, and what are your thoughts and your strategies of promotion? Anyway, guys, love and peace. Hopefully you can come to Japan soon.
Oh, thanks. I mean, without social media, less people know about you. So to me, it's like it's part and parcel of what you do. I mean, If without social media, how are you going to promote what you're doing? How are people going to know about it? To me,
it's just the modern way of doing it. I'm bad at promoting myself and what I do, but I don't. A lot of the people I follow on Twitter are artists because they're on there promoting their art, and it's an easy way to be like, I want to look at some art from this artist and click them and go through. I want people to promote the cool shit they're doing. I follow these people because some of them are my friends, but I follow a lot of people because I just want to know what they're up to.
The days of like the individual websites is over.
Yeah.
People just have I have like a link tree, the sort of thing that you go there and you can access my web store there, my Instagram, my Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, like that's what people have at most. That's all you need. You don't need to have your own individual site unless you're doing like long form blogs and shit like that. Well, even that there's separate sites for, right? You used to do the question and answer thing. That was a separate thing. But it's all. But you can all just have like there's other things besides Linktree. Some people don't like Linktree. I think some people don't like that. I think their politics is weird. I gotta look into it. But like there's a bunch of sites where it's just like, oh, here's all my shit. Here's my contact. Here's all my crap. So that's I don't see it. I mainly use my main account just for promotion, just because I don't like getting bogged down on Twitter. And whenever someone tries to have a conversation with me, there's a 50% chance it's in bad faith. Sometimes where I'm just like, this is a bad faith conversation. They just want to argue with me. That's not worth my time. And that comes with the territory. Once you gain a certain amount of followers, I get that. So in general, for me, social media is like, oh, let's just read it and look at cat memes and cute pictures, look at zoo creatures. But in terms of the interaction, I try not to get bogged down in it too much, unfortunately. All right. So we have to have someone check in with us. The Amico has come to a close, by and large, besides maybe bankruptcy hearings, whatever drama, selling it off into pieces. So it seems that, there's been less to talk about. And I think a certain CEO thinks that, maybe time has been wasted. So you got the word that, there's going to be this might be it. This might be it for someone checking in with us.
It might be.
Might be.
Hello, Pat. Hello, Ian. This is a very hard call for me to make, but it had to be made. I shan't be calling into this show anymore, and I'm sorry I ever started, because no one understands me. I should really be in an emo band, and I think everyone knows it would be the greatest emo band that ever existed, but I've wasted too much time calling you, and it's time to get back to what I am a master at. I have nothing left to say to any of you, besides what I'm gonna say in this song. I may say you're gaming racists, but you're not the only ones. I hope someday you'll buy my Amico, so I can take all your money. Please give me your money. Please. Getting way behind on those Sega Channel payments. Thank you.
Fare thee well, Tommy. Fare thee well.
Good luck on wherever life takes you, Tom.
We'll see you down the road.
It's been a legendary run, Tom.